Okay, dokie. We are back with the Bible, the Biblia. And we left off of Hagar, Abram, and Sarai's servant getting raped, having a child, and God blessing her with many more children while also cursing the son? Lordy. We are now on the covenant of circumcision. Okay, yeah. The covenant of circumcision. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will confirm my covenant between me and you, and will greatly increase your numbers. Abram fell face down, and God said to him, As for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for the generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you are now an alien. Interesting. I lost it. The whole land of Canaan, where you are now an alien, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. First of all, nobody asked. He didn't ask for many, many kids and nations and kings, and you're like, I will give this to you. You serve me now. God just sounds like a corrupt business CEO. Hashtag. Okay. Then God said to Abraham, As for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you for the generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you, the covenant you are to keep. Shut up already. Every male among you shall be circumcised. What? Kamikaze. Leave the cats alone. So he blesses him with many generations and kings. The only thing they have to do for him is, mutilate their penis, their scrotum. And then they could be God's people. Hi, baby girl. That is so stupid, man. And people listened and followed this absolute hogwash. Why would an all-powerful God created the foreskin? Why would he want you now to chop it off? And someone so powerful and whatnot and all-knowing, he's God, but he's concerned about you snipping your privates there, your privets? No. Who thinks that that's logical to be doing or following or listening to? How do you put logic to, alien overlord said that he'd give us anything and everything as long as we mutilated our penises for him. So we did. No! That's ridiculous. Come on. If God made everything, God made foreskin, and I don't think he made it to be chopped off. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made it. Lord have mercy. Blah, 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 blah. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. Talk about signing in blood. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household, or bought with money from a foreigner, those who are not your offspring. Whether born in your household or bought with your money, they must be circumcised. I mean, my goodness. What? Why would you want to follow such a person? Huh? Why would you want to follow someone whose demand is for you to mutilate yourself and mutilate your children and mutilate other people who aren't even related to you? What the hell? Literally, my gosh. If anything, the word of the Bible is coming to say, haha, this was actually the devil. Have fun finding God. My goodness gracious. Oh, Lordy. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. I can't. How does anyone read that and really believe, with everything we know, everything you do, and just everything, how can you be like, oh my gosh, if my kids aren't mutilated, God's gonna ban me from the kingdom. Oh, but then, of course, there's the whole forgiveness thing, right? And making it back to... This isn't even a good movie. This isn't even like a good book. It's such nonsense. It has no plot. The plot is gone. There's no plot. What, so we worship him? God just sounds like a slave trader and an experimentist and a total douche. This is absolute insanity that people are basing decisions like that over such a ridiculous story. It's absolute insanity. I don't even have anything else to say about it. It's so illogical and idiotic. Anyone who believes this and follows this, I'm sorry, I don't have a high opinion of your intelligence. You have shown a unwillingness to think. I said it. Alright, we'll try and get through this. Oh, gosh. He has broken my covenant by not mutilating himself and his children and people unrelated to him. Didn't say that last part. God also said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. This is just an alien overlord pissing around with the human experiments, trying to see how stupid they are, which ones might be able to move on to another testing program. We're just mice in God's experiment here. That's all we are. Based on this, we're just dumb mice in God's experiment. It's so ridiculous. Not that mice are dumb, I'd like to say. I'm just saying we're dumb mice. Mice aren't dumb, but we're dumb mice. I will bless her, and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. Oh, and let's not forget that God is giving this to the couple who abused and raped their servant in an effort to make her pregnant and steal her child to raise as their own. Let's not forget that God is now blessing these two angels with a great life, I guess. Abraham fell face down. Did he get up at some point? He laughed and said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old?" I mean, we just got done with the whole list of people who lived to 900 years old. And at 267 years old, he had a son, and he named him blah, blah, blah. And now Abraham's like, how can a 100-year-old have a son? Oh my. Aren't you gonna live? Didn't it say somewhere that he lives to like forever, too? Like, I don't know. Okay, Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, "Will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." Then God said, "Yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." Okay, so he's going to bless the rape bastard, and I'm probably not allowed to say that on YouTube. When he had finally finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael, and all those born in his household, or bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them, as God told him. How many of these people ended up dying? Your first time circumcising, you're not a trained doctor, you've got none of the proper tools or medicines, potentially, to keep that wound properly taken care of. And you just go around the whole household. How many people died? How many people got gangrene on their weenie and died? I'd like to know. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael were both circumcised on that day. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. And every male in Abraham's household, including those born in his household or bought from a foreigner, slavery, was circumcised with him. Gosh. So Abraham, yeah, okay, so thinking of this in non-godly terms, thinking of this as people doing what people do in life, it's not the first time we've seen something like this. So if you take out the belief of God being in this, but take the story, because they're all like, these stories are true, they're true. Okay, say the story is true, but let's take God out of it. Abraham was a sicko, pervert, cult leader. You take out God's word, and for whatever reason thinking you should believe God's word, and his word is to do this. You take that factor away, and people being people, if this story is true, then Abraham is a slaveholder, a creepazoid, and he just wanted to mutilate a bunch of people's penises and is using, or has mental issues, and is using this hallucination or imagination of, oh, a higher being told me to do this. I mean, that's what every cult is telling his people. Oh, the prophet, I've been told, you must undress and give me your daughters to screw. Like, every cult does this. It's literally no different, except that we've decided that this one is the truth, and it does come from God. God wanted us to mutilate the bodies he created for a promise. Come on, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Oh my gosh. The three visitors. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre. The great trees of Mamre, while he was sitting at the entrance to his tent in the heat of the day. Abraham looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. He said, "If I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, do not pass your servant by me, or your servant by. Let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat so you can be refreshed and then go on your way, now that you have come to your servant." Alright, I need to read that again myself. And the Lord appeared to Abraham. He was in the great trees, entrance tent, looked up, saw 3 men, hurried from the tent to meet them, bowed low to the ground. "If I have found favor in your eyes, do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought. You may all wash your feet." Oh no! You've fallen and you can't get up. No sorry. Oh, there we go. Alright, so I guess some passerbys, and it sounds like Abraham was like, "Oh, I'm so blessed. Bring water. You can wash your feet." "Very well," they answered. "Do as you say." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. "Quick," he said, "get 3 says. Get 3 SEAHS's of fine flour, and knead it, and bake some bread." Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice, tender calf, and gave it to a servant, who hurried to prepare it. He then brought some curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared, and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. "Where is your wife Sarah?" they asked him. "There in the tent," he said. Then the Lord said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already old and well advanced in years, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my master is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." Oh my gosh. It's really astounding. And I've read part of a Mormon book before, too, when I was staying in a hotel. And it was just as ridiculous as this. They're no different as far as being just absolutely ridiculous. I may believe there's something out there, but these are just human-made stories that are absolutely ridiculous and self-serving and just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I can't say it enough. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's zero intelligence happening here, and then people have such reverence for it. I gotta question the intelligence there. I'm gonna make so many people mad. So many people mad. Alrighty. Yes, you did laugh. Abraham pleads for Sodom. When the men got up to leave, they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him, so that he will direct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." Oh, Lordy. Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin is so grievous, that I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." The men turned away and went towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it?" Oh, the slave trader rapist has a line, and apparently murdering innocent people is not really his thing. "Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right?" Ooh, Abraham got a little power and he's getting snappy with it. The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Then Abraham spoke up again. "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city because of 5 people?" "If I find 45 there," he said, "I will not destroy it." Once again he spoke to him. "What if only 40 are found there?" He said, "I think I can see where this is going, but I guess we're reading it word for word, minus the ones we can't pronounce. "For the sake of 40, I will not do it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there?" And he answered, "I will not do it if I find 30 there." Abraham said, "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there?" Ooh, at least we're speeding it up. We skipped 10 instead of 5. He said, "For the sake of 20, I will not destroy it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?" He answered, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. Oh man, but those 9 good people who hung on to their righteousness through all the turmoil and all the corruption happening around them, oh man, they couldn't just get one more. After all their effort to stay righteous in that environment. Poor little 9 people. Alrighty. Abraham returned home after talking with him. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. It seems very odd to me that every story I've ever heard in church is in the very beginning of Genesis. There's a lot more Bible they never talked about. It's curiosity. Or is Genesis just a mass, what's the word I'm looking for? Nutshell, for lack of the better word I was trying to think of. Is it just a recap? Is Genesis just a little recap of the whole book? Then we go into the nitty-gritty? I don't know. I was raised in church my whole life, and I wouldn't know. They don't tell you these things. Alrighty, Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed, but let me get a little hydration station. Oh, and we're at 26 minutes. We'll end after Sodom and Gomorrah. That'll be our segment. I think it started talking about it. No, it was circumcision it was talked about. We'll finish Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. The two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. When he saw them, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground. "My lords," he said, "please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night, and then go on your way early in the morning." "No," they answered, "we will spend the night in the square." But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. Oops, you done fallen again. You done fallen again. It's all messed up now. Woo! Stay. Be good. What a good little phone. What a good little phony one. But he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they had gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them." Oh my goodness. Lot went outside to meet them and shut the door behind him and said, "No, my friends, don't do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man." What in the world? What is all that from? Probably my carpet. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. "Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you like with them. But don't do anything to these men, for they have come under the protection of my roof." But your own daughters aren't under the protection of your roof? What in the absolute heck? "Get out of our way," they replied, and they said, "This fellow came here as an alien, and now he wants to play the judge. We'll treat you worse than them." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved forward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness, so that they could not find the door. The 2 men said to Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, son-in-laws, sons, or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place." Why are they saving the dude who was about to give up his virgin daughters to be raped This is absolutely ridiculous. Why would you want to worship a God whose angels and blah, blah, blah are all okay with this? So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. With the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." When he hesitated, the men grasped with his hand and the hands of his wife and of his 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, for the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Flee for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me and I'll die." "Why?" "Look, here is a town near enough to run to, and it is small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared." He said to him, "Very well, I will grant you this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." That is why the town was called Zoar. By the time Lot reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, including all those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Okay. The Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, so sounds like a volcano went off, but since people didn't know a lot about these things, volcano went off. Sodom and Gomorrah got buried. That's what it sounds like. I'm just saying. It's starting to get warm out here. Alright, she was turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back. Because she was human, and humans, and a creature, any creature of the earth tends to look around. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain. Okay, before I finish that sentence. And not to mention, he just saved Lot's life, even though he offered up his children to rape, but she looked back and she died. Make it make sense. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and returned to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Lot and his daughters. Well, we're at 33 minutes. Okay, I'll finish this little segment too. Lot and his daughters. Lot and his 2 daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains, for he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. One day the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to lie with us, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get our father to drink wine and then lie with him and preserve our family line through our father." Well, I mean, considering they were raised in such an environment as to give them away to be raped, makes sense that they would do such a thing. But let me guess, God's not going to blame the father who raised them in that environment and did those things to them. He's probably going to blame the girls, the females, of course. Let's get our father to drink wine and then lie with him and preserve our family through our father." That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and lay with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I lay with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and lie with him, so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter went and lay with him. Again he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. Or when he lay down and got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites of today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the Ammonites of today. Abraham and Abimelech. That is where we will stop. The next segment will start with Abraham and Abimelech. It's just so ridiculous. It's insanity. And what gets me is that Christians often are like, "Oh, people doing these things are bad." But then they're praising the God who blessed the ones doing those very things. It just doesn't make any sense. That is exhausting with its idiocy. We shall go take a break for now and change into something cooler, because the sun has decided to make an appearance. Pooh pooh. Thank you for joining us on this adventure of lunacy. Bye!